Welcome to August Updates. This is our 6th edition of updates. We have 3 updates for August. The first is a small update in the case of Mason Smith. You might remember that I did a Kidmissing radio show excuse me, about this case. I will link that in the description. It's now being reported that his family feels that this is no longer a search for a living boy. This is now a recovery. They believe he is deceased. That is so sad. I will also link his Facebook and Instagram in the description. Actually, I'll probably put his radio show in the cards, because all of my radio shows are turned into videos. I just found that sad and disheartening, but I think they're trying to be real, you know? As sad as it is. And my prayers go out to them. I pray that that's not the case, but I know we have to be real. Sadly, in this world, that's what real is. Second update I have is in the case of Sarah Pryor, the little girl who started it all for me. If you've been a fan of my channel, you know that that was the little girl that got me interested in the missing. I was 11 years old when she was 9 years old, when she disappeared from Wayland, Massachusetts, just 41 miles from me. It changes your perspective when you're a little kid and another little kid actually was missing from a town not dissimilar to yours. The update I have is that the prime suspect in her case is said to have died in a Texas prison at the age of 77. Now, all I could find in the Texas prison records was that he was in an outside medical facility and he was aged 77. But it was a family member of the victim that he killed in Texas that he went back to jail for on a parole violation and was still incarcerated for, who posted his passing on my Sarah Pryor Facebook group. I will link that in the description. Usually the families find out before the media does, because the Department of Corrections will call, you know, a victim's family and say, look, killer's dead. So it is possible, even though I couldn't find it in the media, that it's true, because family would know first. I am going to keep my eyes open. And if there's any more news, I will be sure and let you know. The last update is kind of a long update. The Eldora Jane Doe has been identified. Her first name was, in fact, Kelly, although nobody thinks her last name was Carr. They kept her last name for privacy. Excuse me. I will put her case in the cards at the end of the video. She had a tough life. She had a stepdad that she thought was her dad. Turned out he wasn't. They divorced. Her mother then married a man that was horribly abusive. They divorced. Her mother then got married again, and her husband died of cancer. So her mother sent her and her sister to live with her aunt, the mother's sister, I believe. And then, a year or two later, She took them back and unfortunately became involved in drugs and involved her daughter. Specifically cocaine. At one point she did get clean and go back to her aunt. This time her aunt was in Texas instead of in Virginia where they're from, because her uncle was stationed in Texas. He was military. Excuse me. Just as a little side note, my grandfather was a World War II veteran, and he was actually stationed at Fort Bliss, Texas himself. So, soon she went to Arkansas and began dancing topless. Interestingly, they say that she, with her pimp, may have been involved in the death of Dwayne McCorkindale, a truck driver who was murdered. I will post links to the article about her name being found. In fact, when they were first doing genealogy on her case, it came across a distant cousin, like maybe a, I don't know, first cousin 4 times removed or something. That's just an example. I don't know exactly. They just said distant cousin. And she said, she looks like my family, but I don't know who she is. So they continued looking, and they were able to find out who she was. I think she's going to be brought back to Virginia, or was brought back to Virginia to be buried. I'm not 100% certain on that, but that is where she was from. She was not wanted by the FBI for bank robbery or anything like that, which is something that she had said, but they think the murder of Dwayne McCorkindale may be related to her in some way. So a sad life ends so early. She was 21 years old. And it took, what year did she? Longer than she was on this planet to give her her name back. Sorry, allergies. I must sound terrible. But think about that for a second. Ponder that. It took longer than she was on this planet to give her her name back. That's insane. That should not happen in the United States of America. But it does, all too often. And we cover those cases here. I say we, but it's just good old me. And please bear with me on Kidmissing Radio. Just as a side note, I am trying. I have sent out countless emails, made calls. I'm just not getting a bite. If you want to be on the show, email in the description. Email me. If you know somebody you think would want to be on the show, email me. Thank you so much for joining me. Please help us get to our goal of 500 subscribers by August 4th, my birthday. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay cool, because as I record this, we're in a heat wave. And a programming note, as I record this, the next video you will see is my mother's birthday special video. That will be on Saturday, July 23rd. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Stay cool and God bless you.